This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Are we really on the right side of history? This is Wretched Radio. No doubt you've either seen or been scolded yourself for being so archaic, Neanderthalic, so patriarchal, so perhaps a skin color. And you are made to feel the shame of not being forward thinking, for making progress. This is a tool. It's more like a club to bludgeon you into submission and to give up on your former values, to adopt what is new, what is cutting edge, what makes progress. This, to me, is another example of how Christians regularly need to stop and say, what are you talking about? What do you mean by progress? Why don't you define that for me? Because when we drill down on the word progress, chances are pretty good it's going to reveal something that is wonky. And if you have perhaps been pressured to get with the program because we've got to make progress, perhaps simply asking the question, well, what do you mean by that? Furthermore, to be on the right side of history, what does that mean? How do you know that we were on the wrong side in 2017, before we all lost our minds? Well, how do you know that that was the wrong side of history? How do you know that we're making progress? Trevin Wax, he's been writing some zingers as of late to help us think through this and to dismantle the tools that are being used to pressure you and me to start thinking in a progressive way. Not all progress is equal, writes Wax. A marriage can grow weaker over time, and the couple progresses to divorce court. Your body, it's progressing. How is it progressing, my senior citizen friend? Are you making good progress with your body? Or is it perhaps breaking down a little bit?
I'm not even senior citizen, and mine's already breaking down.
I can see it. It's true, though. But that's progress, right? Yeah. So all progress is good. That's what you got to make progress. If we don't make progress, we're just stupid and dumb like all of those people who lived about 8 weeks ago. We're making progress here. Well, not all progress is good. And by simply reminding people, well, wait a second, are you sure progress is actually good? Charting a society's progress can reveal areas of societal decay. Are we evolving or devolving? We're definitely changing. The question is, in which direction? Which, for my pre-sup friends, this is another opportunity to ask, well, how do you know? How do you know this is the right side of history? Where's your playbook? Where's your rules to tell us we used to be all stupid like this, and now we're getting all smart? Because why? Who says is the two-word question that regularly will pop a hole in their worldview. Secular humanism is the religion of who says, and it's biblical. It goes back to the garden. This was a part of the original sin. When the devil came to Adam, he was playing secular humanism, who says. Did God say? Oh, no, silly. I say. And Adam bit the fruit and bit the lie and bought into wrong thinking. And that is what you see throughout every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Who says I got to do it like this? Who says I can't cut a concubine into 12 pieces? Who says this is wrong? Who says is a question that we should ask the person who says, we've got to be on the right side of history with these issues. Who says? And who defines these terms? The question doesn't typically get raised. Another problem is that the standards of progress change more often than we realize. About 100 years ago, prohibition was progress. Oh, apparently not. Hold on, we're wrong about that. What about the women's suffrage movement? Damaging windows of saloons led the charge for temperance. Progressives were also champions of eugenics. That's being on the right side of history. We've got to sterilize people because 3 generations of imbeciles is enough, said Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes in the Buck v. Bell case. That was being progressive. Hey, people are idiots, says who? We do. And therefore, we are going to be on the right side of history and sterilize them. That was progressive. Was that a good thing? Now we realize, no, not so much as a culture. Progress is not always a good thing. Progress sees the past as a problem from which we must escape, rather than a foundation upon which we must build. Biblically speaking, which view should Christians have? Should we be looking backwards or should we be looking forward? That was a trick question. I gave you an either or, and it's both. And that's the challenge that we have in front of us on a lot of realms these days, because we're dealing with issues about, hey, we've got some theologians in our past. They had some blind spots. Cancel them. No, that's what the world says. We say, all right, be aware of it, recognize it, but before we throw out everything with the bathwater, we appreciate the good work that they did do. And now we build on that. The current cancel culture just says cancel everybody who ever did anything that we currently deem, because we're on the right side of history, as being wrong. That's not the Christian view. We're not the cancel culture. We're the forgiveness and grace culture, and we know that fallible people, can do some good things and some bad things. And we weigh them and we balance them. Progress is seen as the only good thing for the secular humanist. Christian realizes, no, there's good things behind us, and we're going to build on that, and we're going to reform those things that were bad. We're not going to revolt and tear everything down. Says who is a really important question. The secularist sees the bad, it's just all bad, the past, and thinks it's all bad. It's terrible, it's awful, we got to get rid of it. We got to get rid of it. We got to build a new thing to be on the right side of history. According to, I guess, us. The problem with progress like that type of progress, not genuine progress, it's linked to pride. And what happens to the person who is filled with pride? Little destruction is going to happen. So when we see secular humanists saying it was all bad in the past, I know how it should be for the future. Our way of doing it is the right way. It is loaded with pride. The Christian view is humility. The Christian view says, I don't know everything. I don't know how everything is supposed to be done. Pride manifests itself in the actions of one generation that sees the absolute moral clarity of all the sins of the past generation. Aren't we living with a moral lot these days? That they're defining that everybody in the past, if they said something, wrote something, did something that we currently deem to be terrible,
cancel.
They are done. That is loaded with pride.
You might as well cancel everybody at this point.
You have to. Karl Marx, by the way, socialism is out because Karl Marx was a raging racist.
Canceled.
Should be. Well, not so. By the way, you want to hear a weird thing? Okay, so I'm doing the tweet thing. I can't even remember the conversation. And I went to find a GIF. Is it a GIF or a GIF? Has anybody resolved this dispute?
It's a GIF.
You're on the wrong side of history.
Oh.
It's now a GIF. Me.
Canceled.
I typed in Nazi to find. I wanted to find somebody like a Nazi for whatever I was doing.
That's a safe thing to type in.
Nothing. There were none.
Wow.
So I typed in Hitler. Nothing. No images of Hitler on the GIF. They're just images for everything. So then I typed in Lenin. Lots of stuff. A lot of images of Lenin. And most of it good, by the way. And then I typed in communism. Tons of stuff. Socialism. Plenty of it.
Good things?
Oh, yeah, plenty of good things. And Nazis, no. I can't explain that either. Progress is also devoted to fashion and fads, committed to seizing the spirit of the age and riding it to a better world, only to discover later that the spirit of the age is an enslaving spirit, a tyrant just as merciless toward us as the spirit that led our ancestors into error. The tyranny of progress drives you into a herd mentality, pushes you to run as fast as you can, wreck everything so that we can presumably make it better. But 10 minutes later, along comes the next generation and says, you guys have got it all wrong. So we got to tear you down, and you got to join our herd if you're going to be on the right side of history, so that we can now have a progressive society. The answer can only be found in fixed ideals that are revealed, not created. That's Wax's solution. Are we going to go with what we make up or what is revealed? The kind of progress that counts aspires to a moral vision that is given to us, not one we create for ourselves. The Christian, we're okay with small p progress. But the only way that we know that we're deficient and needing to be improved is if we have a revealed word, not a herd mentality who makes up the rules as they go, who are trendy, demanding, and entirely unforgiving. Secular humanism, no thanks. It's not a nice worldview. I'll take Christianity any day, because that's the right side of history. This is Wretched Radio.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is